Hey guys, it's Ben here from the Pride of Villa, and today I'm bringing you another transfer update video. And in this one, we're going to be talking about the January transfer window for Aston Villa. This is going to be who I think Aston Villa should be signing, looking into the positions where I think we need strengthening, and giving you some examples of some players that we could be bringing in, and also some interests that we are looking at bringing in as well. So if you are going to enjoy this video, I know you're going to enjoy it. Please leave a like on it. Get a like spot going, like spot. You love it. Obviously, subscribe to the channel, share us about, follow us on our social pages. And without further ado, let's get started. So it is obviously the January transfer window is open as I speak, and obviously Villa had signed about 5 to 6 players in the summer transfer window, and in the previous year signing over 10 to 15 players on about 180 million. So we've definitely changed the squad that we started and came up with since our promotion season. And obviously this year we've started off really well. We're currently in 5th place as I'm recording, playing Manchester United tonight. A win there could see us potentially move as high as 2nd place in the league. But obviously we need to strengthen in a bit more areas, because I think with Ross Barkley being injured and out, it showed that although we were still able to get some good performances out, we ultimately didn't have that level of quality and that level of comfort that you would see in the midfield. And obviously resulted in Grealish and other players having to work a little bit harder, whereas Barkley gives everyone else a bit of freedom. And then obviously we've got to look at the bench, and the bench is just not strong enough for what we want to achieve in the Premier League, and that's for higher positions, and we need a stronger bench. So in terms of positions that I think we need to be looking into, first off, I think we need to look into a left back. Now Neil Taylor's contract is going to run out at the end of this season. I can't see it being extended, because I don't really think Dean Smith wants to continue on with the player who hardly plays at all anyway, because Target's a really good first team starter, but also Neil Taylor's age, and he doesn't really fit Dean Smith's motto, so I think he'll want to look into a younger left back. And I think with some of the targets that we're going to be listing today, I think we can see potentially someone on loan, or even hopefully a new signing. But I think this for me is the number one area that Villa needs to be focusing on in this window. You can obviously say centre back, because for me I think Engels is going to be out his way soon. I think probably in the summer, because I just don't really see much of a future for him now. I don't think he's that bad of a centre back. I think he's actually quite good from what we did see last season, but I just think he's fallen out of favour with Dean, and I think he'll want to perhaps find somebody that will make an impact on the bench, but also push to continue to start in the first team. Obviously we've got to look in midfield. I think we massively need strengthening there. Lansbury needs to go. I think Horan's not a bad option, but I just think there's so much better choices than him that we need to look investing. And it's, as I said, without Barkley, the midfield does look kind of depleted, and like a lot of the players are having to work a lot harder, whereas Barkley gives up the freedom and lets players doesn't make players worry much about controlling that midfield, because we've still got Doug, we've still got Barkley being that creative, running Last McGinn and other players to push up on the pitch. And then I still think we need a winger. I just don't see. It's as I was talking about with Nathan in our 2020 roundup. Although some of these players were really good and looked really excellent when they were playing this season, like Traore, like El Ghazi coming back to form, and Trezeguet, I just think overall, I just don't think it screams enough quality, or like we're going to be getting goals from a lot of them. I know El Ghazi's been getting goals and Traore, but really they've been goal poaching goals. They've just been standing in the right place at the right time. And I'd just like to see a little bit more, and I think we can obviously get a little bit better, considering that we don't really have any other wingers on the bench right now, considering Trezeguet is not even on that bench because he's out injured. So it's trying to strengthen that bench and look at who we can be bringing in to improve it. So let's just dive straight into who I think is going to be coming into Aston Villa this season. We'll be starting with the left back position. Okay, so at left back, I've obviously talked about this player before, but my first option is Rico Henry from Brentford. He has made 95 appearances, 2 goals, 6 assists. He's played over 8,400 minutes for Brentford, and will look to be costing around 20 to 30 million. But I think for a player of his quality, and the background behind him with Dean Smith, I think it's a very good option, and I think it's, for me, the option that we need to be going with. He's just really dynamic. He's really exciting, fresh, innovative. He's got a lot of pace, and I think he provides that cover for Matt Target and also the competition, so that it will be a real struggle for Dean to understand who we can choose between Matt Target or Rico Henry. But it also means that we've got something of improved quality over Neil Taylor, and it also matches Dean Smith's age motto, considering he's only about 25, 26. So still a lot of place to work with there. Obviously the links with Ezri Konza and Ollie Watkins will mean that he'll become very familiar with some of the players there, and I think he'll fit right in with the team. And I think he's ready for the Premier League. You know, watching him in the playoff final against Swansea last season, he looks really, really good playing there, managing to get the assist from Wembo. And he's just like some real dynamite that we need in our team, and real excitement to give Matt Target that competition. So yeah, my first choice is Rico Henry from Brentford. Secondly, I've gone for Bukayo Saka from Arsenal. Now, I don't think this is going to happen, quite frankly, because I think Arsenal ask for way too much money. I don't really think he'll want to leave Arsenal. But 39 appearances, 2 goals, 6 assists, and he's very, very, very talented. He's probably Arsenal's best player right now. You know, and he's just really exciting to see someone at the age of, I believe, 19 or 20 managing to compare and play much better than the likes of Aubameyang, Lacazette, Partey and Willian. You know, it's exciting to see someone like him, and I think he'd be a really, really good choice for Aston Villa. With the likes of Martinez having come over from Aston Villa, saying he was a step up in his career, we could say the same for Bukayo Saka. And I think he'd massively improve that defensive line, and in addition give us some more attacking options out wide. But I just don't think it's going to happen, because I think Arsenal will ask too much money. I don't think Villa will want to spend a lot this window, and I think really Bukayo would like to stay in Arsenal. I think he can develop his career there, but that is my second choice, obviously Bukayo Saka from Arsenal. Third, I've got Brandon Williams, but I'm going for this on a loan option because he's really fallen out of favour at Man United. He was on a point where he was the first team starter over Luke Shaw, but obviously they brought in Alex Telles, and Luke Shaw somehow still gets game time, even though Luke Shaw is bog average for Man United. But he's got 18 goals, 1 assist, 1 goal, 0 assists, 4 clean sheets, and I just think it'd be a really good idea to get him on loan, see how he can fit into the team, if he is good cover for Matt Target. And as I go for the loan, see how well he gets on, and if he's looked good, we can go in and buy him, because I think he'd be really dirt cheap from Manchester United. He's also young age, so there's plenty to work with there. That is my third option for Brandon Williams from Manchester United, and that overall covers the left-back situation there. Let's move on to the centre-back role. Okay, so in the centre-back role, I've only really got one choice here, just because I don't think this is really going to be an area that Dean will perhaps look into. I think he will still keep... I think he might keep Engels. I know I just said he'll probably get rid of him, but there's also that chance he will keep him. And I think if we are going to sell him, I think for me, there's only one player I could really see coming in. And he's already been linked with the club before in the summer, I believe, last year. And that is Jake Cooper from Millwall. Now, he's had 181 appearances for Millwall, 15 goals, 13 assists. And I believe he's only going to cost us around 10 to 15 million for someone of 25 years of age, who looks very experienced and very mature in playing in the Championship for a team that's perhaps not really going to do as much or go as far in Millwall. And obviously, as we said, being linked with Jake Cooper already means that Smith has probably still got some good interest in him. He does believe in him, and I do think he could be a step up, if not break his way into the first team. Obviously, it's going to be hard to get ahead of the likes of Konza and House, and then obviously Mings, but I think Mings would be better on the bench, if I'm being honest. And I think having Jake Cooper there is also just a step up over the likes of Engels. And I think he could emulate what we saw of James Chester when he first came in. Obviously, he's got the captain-like qualities. He's strong, he's imposing, he's tall, he's going to clear that ball away. Him and Mings, I could see making a really good partnership there, and I think it'd really be an improvement to our defensive line. So it'd be really interesting to see what we're going to be doing in that centre-back role. Obviously, I've only mentioned Jake Cooper there just because I don't really think it's going to be an area that he's going to look into. But overly, maybe he will put some investment in, and maybe we'll see him really look at this again in summer. But for now, I've gone for Jake Cooper from Millwall. And now let's get into the probably most interesting position that's going to be covered in the January transfer window, the central midfield. Now, for the central midfield role, I've obviously got 3 interesting choices here. It's, as I said, I think we need to get rid of Lund because he's just not good enough for the Premier League. I think Hourihane is a real 50-50. I think he can offer something, but for me, he just doesn't do enough in the Premier League. He's probably one moment in every game he'll have a chance, but overall, it's just a real waste. I think he is a really good Championship player at best. So in that case, who are we going to be bringing into the midfield? Well, I think obviously we need to start with Ross Barkley. Now, Ross Barkley has joined us on loan from Chelsea for the 2020 to 21 season. And obviously he's currently injured, but he's looking to be coming back into the team. Hopefully it's going to be today against Manchester United. It's obviously going to be costing around £40 million. This is because Villa have apparently already shown a lot of interest in signing the player after his really good performances against the likes of Liverpool and Leicester City. And he just overall adds a missing quality that is in our midfield. You know, it's, as I said, without him, it feels like, although we're still able to get some good performances in, he just shows that how we played against Arsenal and how he ran the game there compared to how we played against the likes of West Brom and West Ham and Brighton, how we missed out on results there that we would have been winning otherwise. And I think having Ross Barkley there, it's also a big name. He's still young, so there's a lot of time to work with him, and it's obviously going to bring in so much quality, so much experience, control that midfield, but also offers so much creativity that it allows for the likes of McGinn to push forward and go and get more goals whilst Dougie sits in and tries to help the back line out, but also make sure the middle of the pitch is still steady and stable. Obviously he's on loan. For me, I would wait until the end of the season if we are going to go for Ross Barkley, just because, as I said, he's been injured right now, and really that's not enough for me to warrant us spending 40 million on a player that's only played a few games for us so far. Although he does look really, really good for us, I think in terms of his career, in terms of making it to the England squad, I think it'd be a really good chance for him there. I think overall we need to wait until the end of the season so we can go and sign him. Because I just want to see more of him. I just don't think right now it's the right time to sign him because he has been injured. But leave in the comments down below what you think should be happening with Ross Barkley. Would you sign him in the January transfer window? Would you wait till next season to sign him? But obviously that is the first option there, Ross Barkley from Chelsea. Next up, obviously, a player we've already talked about before, John Swift from Reading. He's made 154 appearances, 22 goals, 23 assists, and it probably cost around 20 to 25 million for the 25-year-old. I think this would be a really, really good option. I already said last summer transfer window that would be a really good option for Aston Villa. It's just that overall level of quality that he provides more than Hourihane and Lansbury combined, and I think he's a really, really good option to have on the bench. He's creative, he's imposing, he's got those captain-like qualities that we need to see more in Villa, and I think overall, it's, as I said, with Ross Barkley or any midfielder that we could potentially sign, he just releases McGinn. It doesn't make him and Grealish have to come back deep. He can keep them in their roles and stay on that attacking press, whilst we have the players like John Swift or Ross Barkley or Douglas, so we stay in that middle of the mid-pitch and overall control the game there. And I think it'd really be a good option. I'd like to see John Swift come in. I already said it last season, I already said it this season. I'd really like to see him come in. I think it'd be a really good option, and I hopefully think that Dean Smith will capitalise on that as well. So that is the second option there, is John Swift from Reading. And then finally, I think this is someone that's surprisingly going to be talked about, Jesse Lingard from Manchester United. Now, he's a player he's just fallen out of favour at Manchester United. For me, I think he's a player that cares more about his brand than his football. He's more somebody that cares about having the lifestyle out of football rather than focusing on what he's been made of on the pitch. He's had 133 appearances for Man United, 18 goals, 12 assists. He's played for the England squad before, so there's definitely a bit of experience there. And for a player like him, he's not that bad. He's not terrible. And again, I think this is someone that can actually provide a bit of a step up over Hourihane and Lansbury. But the problem is we just don't know what type of player you would get from Jesse Lingard. I don't think he would come out on loan. I think if he would, it's going to have to be a lot of money. But I think, considering Man United triggered a 1-year extension in his contract so they can actually send him on and get money rather than letting him go on a free, obviously I think they'll want about 10 to 15 million for the player, because he's just fallen out of favour. He's not playing at Manchester United, and he's clearly not in their plans. And I think, although he's not going to be the best player, he's not going to be of quality like Ross Barkley and John Swift, I think overall having Jesse Lingard on that bench does scream a little bit more quality, and overall he's something can we bring on alongside Jacob Ramsey as well, considering he's now broken into the first team. It looks really good already. I just think overall he's someone that can improve the bench and perhaps make a bit of an impact on the first team or go out in the cup and gets B-team games. But yeah, Jesse Lingard to Aston Villa from Manchester United. What would you say? Leave in the comments down below. I'll tell us on our social pages, so you can go test there as well. But that is my central midfielder options. I think this is going to be a position that probably teams are going to look at as the number one priority. I think it will most likely sign Ross Barkley, even though, as I said, I think I'd wait till the end of the season, but I think he's going to go for it. And I think he'll look to strengthen in these areas, but hopefully get rid of the likes of Lansbury and potentially Hourihane to bring in someone new there. So yeah, that is my central midfielder position. Let's move on to our final role, which is the wingers position. finally, in this transfer video, we're moving on to the winger position. Now, I've already said in times of video, it's a really hard call to make. Do you go and sign another winger, even though Jack Grealish plays on the left and is very unlikely to get injured or ever have his place taken from him? So then you've got 3 players out on the right, El Ghazi, Traore and Trezeguet. Do you play another player and, you know, look to break him into the first team or improve the bench, but overall have a massively numerous options for the wide positions? Do you look to make that option? Now, it's a very interesting debate, but I think for me, I'd still like to do it. As much as I like Trezeguet's work rate, I think everything else about him is just not there right now. I think El Ghazi's still going on, and I really hope he can come back into it, because I still do believe in him, even through his rough patch, and I think he's finally starting to find the footing. And then Bertrand Traore, it's way too early to say what to do with him, and I think he's going to be the same regardless, so there's nothing really about that. But if we do look at the wingers, there's 3 wingers I want to look at, and I think firstly we need to start off with Josh King. Now, Josh King was linked with us last season, 177 apps for Bournemouth, 50 goals, 17 assists, but what Josh King offers us is not only the option of playing out wide, but also as a centre forward. This means that because Villa have been interested in looking at another striker. Now, obviously, we have Ollie Watkins, who's been playing really well, perhaps not finding the back of the net yet, but it's just going to take a matter of time, and I think he's doing much, much better than Wesley did. Obviously, we've got Wesley. He's probably going to be coming back late January now, so you've really got to consider, do we bring in another striker? What if Ollie Watkins gets injured? We obviously have to rely on Keenan Davis, who for my money, should be loaned out. He should be sent out given time, because simply, I think he's the future of Villa, but right now, it's just not the right time to be playing him. He's just not finding any goals. He's got no confidence. Play him in the Championship, give him the time, let him find his foot, bring him back into a team, and hopefully he'll break through there. But ultimately, it's Ollie Watkins right now, or it's nobody. So do you look at another striker? And that's what Josh King offers us. He can play in that striker role. He can be that centre forward behind Ollie Watkins and offer us a bit more quality and a bit more variety there to play with, so that we don't have to worry about Ollie Watkins getting injured. Or even still, you move Ollie Watkins out to the right and play Josh King down the centre. It's that nice little bit of options that we can have in our team. And I think, although for me Josh King is perhaps the best player we could buy, I think for that idea of rotation and giving us more options, I think it's not a bad decision. And I think if we can get him cheap, maybe 15-20 million, I think it'd be a really decent buy there for Josh King. So let us know what you think. Josh King from Bournemouth. Next up for me, a player I'd like to personally see come in, Alan Saint-Maximin from Newcastle United. Now, I think he's very underrated in the Newcastle team. He's 74 appearances, 11 goals, 14 assists. It'll probably cost 25 to 30 million, which might be a little bit pricey, but I think that if they are going to sell him, they'll want to get as much of the money back that they paid for him. But what does he offer? He offers a bucket load of pace going forward. He's very, very rapid. Something that we don't have a lot in this Villa team is pace, although we have it in Jack Grealish. I just think everyone else on the pitch is quite slow. We have to work on build-up play, moving it over time, period, moving it up the pitch. Whereas I think someone like Maximin offers us that dynamic burst of pace, moves it straight into the corner, whips in the ball, and also is very skillful. He knows where the back of the net is, and I think he'd be a really, really good buy. And he's only very young as well. I think he's only about 23, 24 years of age, so there's still a lot to work with. I think it'd be a really nice option to have there, and it's still, again, it's that idea of rotation on the bench with El Ghazi, Bertrand Traore, and I think it'd be a really nice link up there. So yeah, I think he'd be a really nice buy. I'd like to see him come in. It's Alan Saint-Maximin from Newcastle United. And let's look on to the final option. Now, this is one that you'd probably guessing already, is of course Milot Rashica from Werder Bremen. Now, obviously, big stories from Villa. We were linked with him. We triggered the clause. He would be coming in. He wasn't. And he was ultimately staying at Werder Bremen. But I think Villa will still look to get him. And I think his valuation might have gone down. 79 appearances, 24 goals, 15 assists. We've been linked with him for a very, very long time, and it's again similar like to Saint-Maximin and Josh King. It's just that rotation, that option that we have, that we can consistently rotate the squad and bring him in, and he just instantly screams we're oozing of quality, not only on the first team but also on the bench. And that's what Milot Rashica can do. He can bring that quality onto the pitch and really put it against the defensive lineup of all the teams and really make them struggle to compete with Rashica, Watkins and Grealish. It'd be a really dangerous front three for the Premier League to deal with. So it'd be really nice to see him come in. Obviously, the value might still be a little bit high, but I think it'd be a lot lower just because he didn't get the move he wanted last season to RB Leipzig or Villa. I think he'll want to keep pushing for that move, and I think now would be a really good time to capitalise on that opportunity. So Milot Rashica from Werder Bremen coming into Villa potentially. Looking at that wingers, I think there's a really good selection of choices there. I wouldn't be opposed to Josh King, honestly, because I think he'll be really looking at this one. Perhaps not the best moves, but I think it's just that idea of rotation that Villa will be looking at. So that is my winger position, and overall my transfer targets for the January transfer window. Alright guys, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Hopefully you did enjoy. Please leave in the comments down below what you think are Dean Smith's going to be choices. I know a lot of you like to comment on the video, so please tell me in the league below, one player if you could, who would you like to sign for Aston Villa in the January transfer window? Would you sign the likes of Josh King in that wider position? Would you look to sign Ross Barkley on a permanent? Would you improve the left back or defensive spots in the team? Who knows? But leave in the comments down below what you would like to see. Follow us on our social pages. You can tell us there on Twitter and Instagram. But without further ado, I've been Ben. Let's hope we smash United up the Villa with the pride of Villa. We'll see you later, boys.